Welcome to the exterior and yard tour of our latest home project. I'm going to be walking you around and showing you why this is going to take a lot of work to get up to our standards. So one thing you will really notice about this yard is that you can't really see much of it other than trees. You can kind of see the front door and that front pergola and the garage, and that's about it. We can't even walk around the house actually. So one of our first big to-do items is just to clear out all of these trees that are growing on top of each other. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of them that we're going to be able to keep because a lot of them are in really bad condition. There's dead ones mixed in with some of the living ones. The trees that are really pretty are in really bad places to keep them. We may try and keep just a couple of them, but we think we're going to have to just take most of them out and start with a clean slate. There is one tree near the front of the house that we are going to try our darndest to keep, and it's that bright red Japanese maple. It's a little tree, but it's so pretty, and it reminds me so much of the Japanese maple in our current home. So I really want to try our hardest to keep that during construction. We're not exactly sure where the property line is because it's so full of foliage. So one of the first things we're going to have to do is get a land surveyor out here. For the most part, I want to keep this area nice and open in case we want to host a large gathering. We're going to build some new retaining walls. I really want to make this a lush, beautiful garden. I have ideas for a path that will go all the way around the whole exterior of the home. I can see the girls taking walks out there, pushing doll strollers, riding their scooters or bikes around the house. I also have an idea for a beautiful gate. I want the front yard to feel very peaceful and have a lot of flowers. A lot of these planters that are in the front of the house are crumbling. They weren't cared for with proper drainage. So we're gonna have to evaluate which ones we want to change or get rid of. And the ones that we want to keep, we need to get a brick mason in here and figure out what we can do to repair them, if it's even possible, and also really think about drainage. A lot of people have asked what we're going to do with the exterior of the house, and it's still a work in progress. We haven't nailed everything down yet, but one thing's for sure, we're going to be painting or lime washing the brick. We're going to be adding in maybe a wood siding in there, and we'll be replacing all of the windows and doors and adding in some black steel accents. We have some fun ideas for what to do with that pergola space. That is the formal dining room. So we're going to be changing the roof line right there, we think. And we're going to do a pergola there, but it will look a lot different. You can see that the brick stepping stones are falling apart. We're going to be rethinking if we want to do concrete, if we want to relay brick. We're not really sure yet. Now that we've talked about the front yard, let's take you around to the backyard, which is maybe even a bigger project than the front. This side area behind the garage is what we have ideas for to put an addition onto the house for a yoga studio / dance studio. I think it will get a lot of use in our family. We're just trying to figure out exactly how to lay it out. The retaining walls that are here are basically falling over. All of the trees are starting to lean. So it's not just not a beautiful situation, it's also just not a really safe situation. Eventually, we will put a pool back here, but we're definitely a few years out from that. We're going to be tackling this yard in phases. We need to grade it and level it and terrace it out a bit. There's a ton of trees back here as well. Some of the trees are really beautiful, but they're just not in the right place, or they're uneven, or they're leaning, or they're kind of scraggly. There's a bench area set up outside, but it is very unstable and wobbly. We tried to sit out there just to eat some lunch the other day, and you feel like they're gonna collapse at any minute. There's a few things in the backyard that are true head scratchers, including a collection of concrete pillars. The people we're buying the house from say that they were here when they bought the house and they don't know what they were for. We have no idea. So they look like they've been here for a really long time. They're sort of reminiscent of Stonehenge. We're also going to have to define the property line back here and put up a good fence. This is an area that gets a lot of wildlife, so we need to make sure that we keep it secure and safe for our little girls. We also, of course, have plans for a playhouse and a trampoline and a garden, not unlike the ones that we have in Stagg Reno. One of my favorite things about this yard, though, is that it's right up on the mountainside. You can hear all of the birds. It's so peaceful and beautiful. And I really can picture us outside listening to the birds, taking in the mountain air and relaxing. We have plans for an outdoor covered patio and an outdoor kitchen area. And one of the biggest changes will be that circular window. We're gonna wait a little bit longer to tell you exactly what this is going to look like because we're still figuring out what's possible, but it's gonna be a pretty dramatic change. Now that we've shown you the outside of the house, we're ready to take you inside on the next tour, so stay tuned.